Hi, I'm Tom, and this is Adult Game Reviews. As a bonus episode this week, Being a Delta Iota Kappa, or B.a.D, episode 10 was just released for $10 on Dr. Pinkcake's Patreon. Should you pass on this one like episode 9, or is it finally time to jump back in? Let's find out. I really felt like Dr. Pinkcake needed to come out swinging with episode 10 because I felt like episode 9 was pretty underwhelming. As far as I know, there's only one more episode in season 3, so as usual, if you want to wait for the full release, that's totally fine, that's up to you. Also, not a full review because I don't want to spoil anything. But first impression was episode 10 is huge.
It was huge.
I replayed episode 9 and played through 10 twice. Episode 10 felt about 3 times the size of episode 9, give or take. The visuals were good as usual, but was a little less stylized than episode 9 was. The biggest complaint about 9 was that it was too many free roams and too little actual story progression, and I stand by this. But boy did Dr. Pinkcake make up for that in episode 10. There were so many side storylines that finally saw movement, and I find enough variation between love interest paths that I want to replay all the different girls' paths. Unfortunately, all episode 10 made me want to do was replay from season 1, and
Ain't nobody got time for that!
as far as the story goes, I was really happy with the story progression. There was one storyline with Isabella that I didn't see if it progressed at all because I wasn't playing Bella's path. So if you're on Bella's path and you play episode 10, let me know down in the comments if anything has changed. I played through Josie and Maya's playthrough first, which was pretty satisfying, and my second playthrough was Jill's. You see your relationship progress with the girls, and I was satisfied with what we got. So what kind of mechanics can you expect? There are a handful of free roams. You have to be a party planner again, but I will say after the Halloween party in episode 9, I found the Thanksgiving party pretty underwhelming. You do have a few possible lewd scenes depending on girls' path. You have new classes you have to attend with new mechanics, and from what I could tell, the free roams weren't nearly as long, which felt a lot more balanced to me. He also completely revamped the brawler minigame, which is so much better. I enjoyed that one a lot. I mean, there's just a lot going on in episode 10 compared to 9 especially. If you were disappointed with 9, I do feel like Dr. Pinkcake redeemed himself with episode 10. It sucked me right back in. However, Dr. Pinkcake is an anomaly. He does a pretty good job, not perfect, but good job at addressing some heavy topics. I was really impressed with how he addressed everyone's feelings when I had to break up with Josie and Maya to be with Jill. It felt pretty realistic. There are heavy topics you get at the very end of the episode that I won't spoil, which was done pretty well. On the flip side, he can't help himself. He came up with something pretty funny with one of Derek's new shirts, but then in the in-game Twitter, he doubles down and takes it way too far, which felt unnecessary, and it kind of killed the joke for me. I don't get it, but you know what? It's his game. So if you haven't liked some of the themes in Being a DIK from season 1 and 2, then not much has changed for you, just FYI. So, my final thoughts. I was worried a bit after episode 9. Many in the adult gaming community felt like Dr. Pinkcake is on his way out. There are so many games out there with better renders, better love interests, and a story that flows better. But B.a.D still does most things well, mostly.
My death was greatly exaggerated.
I had a lot of fun with episode 10, even with the stupid puzzle test minigame, which I spent way too much time on figuring out. So if you loved season 1 and season 2 of B.a.D, I do think episode 10 is worth it. However, if you want to wait until all of season 3 releases, I totally get that too. Thanks all, until next time.